So this comes from Atlas News. An Israeli, cybersecurity official was arrested in Las Vegas during an FBI-led sting operation targeting child predators. Tom Artyom Alexandrovich was charged with a felony count of luring a child with a computer for a sex act. He posted his $10,000 bail, which, listen, guys, $10,000 bail is simply not enough for an act like this. I mean, I feel like this should almost be a no bail situation, like a murder charge, right? And has since fled the country. I wonder to which country he fled to. Depending on the circumstances of the crime, he could have, if he hadn't left, faced up to 10 years in jail. Alexandrovich served as a senior department head in Israel's National Cyber Directorate and was likely in Las Vegas for Black Hat, a prominent cybersecurity conference held at the Mandalay Bay Hotel. The same one that guy walked up how many stories with how many pounds of gear? According to a local media, he attempted to solicit a 15-year-old girl for sex and brought a condom while taking the decoy to the Cirque du Soleil. The office of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said a state-of-fit employee who traveled to the U.S. for professional matters was questioned by American authorities during his stay. Denying that an arrest had taken place, this statement contradicts one made by the acting U.S. attorney for the District of Nevada, whose office announced on the 18th that Tom Artyom Alexandrovich was arrested in a Nevada Internet Crimes Against Children joint operation, and he was booked into the Henderson Detention Center. The names of the other 7 men arrested in the sting have not been released. The state attorney overseeing the case, Sigal Chatta, what a strange name, Sigal Chatta, has previously expressed support for Israel on her X account, and we will get into all of that. Now, as you can imagine, this is Sigal Chatta. This is the acting DA for Nevada. This is Mr. Tom Artyom Alexandrovich, who, again, allegedly solicited sex from a 15-year-old and tried to lure her to his hotel. Fortunately, it was a decoy sting operation. And then after he was arrested, not charged for some reason, but arrested for this act, he fled immediately back to Israel. Womp womp. Okay, but it goes a little bit deeper than that. We're not done yet. Just in, Trump administration directly intervened at Israel's request to release Israeli cybersecurity official Tom Alexandrovich, charged with sex crimes against children, and gave him safe passage to Israel. I have now confirmed with officers involved in the sting that the Trump administration personally intervened at Israel's request to override U.S. law enforcement, including their own federal agents involved in the sting, to make sure that Alexandrovich got back to Israel quickly and safely. Now, this is not like confirmed or anything. This is denied in another article that I have popped up, so keep all that in mind. None of this is actually confirmed, although it wouldn't be surprising. The officers told me they couldn't believe it. They had worked for weeks with the FBI, Homeland Security Investigations, and the Nevada Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force to run this sting. They caught Alexandrovich red-handed. They booked him, charged him, which will be contradicted a little bit later, and logged him into Henderson County system like every other suspect. And then, despite the Trump administration's itself authorizing the sting, Trump's own team stepped in and blew up their work. They expedited his release and return to Israel. A predator was caught, and then to protect Netanyahu, he was freed. It does make him look bad, I would say. Now, there is a really funny tweet. Let me see if I can find it. Not for the tweet itself, but just for the template. And I think Vintage Warfare did it. Let me see if I can pull his up real fast. There we are. Fortunately, he doesn't tweet like a madman, so it shouldn't be too hard to find. And of course, it's not. It's not there. Is it in his replies? Maybe it's in his replies. Let me see. There it is. There it is. This is the one that I want. The fell forward again Battlefield, what was it, 3 maneuver? Yeah? Is that the one? But it's just, yeah, the MAGA falling forward again. It happens. It happens. It's just a great template. It's just a great template. But we're not even done yet. We're not even done yet. Chuck, member for 4 months, says, what did you think about the Helldivers 2 X ODST DLC? I haven't played it. I can't really play Helldivers on my PC because it continues to crash. So maybe we'll talk about it a little bit later. But yeah, it could be very fun. Could be very fun. All right. Now, this is by Cigar and Jetty. You know, maybe check your sources a little bit. Key question. How was Alexandrovich allowed to escape Israel after being caught in the child sexting? Some answers. A source familiar with the Nevada proceedings explains that Alexandrovich posted bail and fled to Israel before appearing before a judge. A criminal complaint needs to be filed before the restrictions can be imposed on travel. So according to this source, the criminal complaint was not actually filed, so they couldn't place travel restrictions on him. And allegedly, he was the only person caught in this sting that didn't have these travel restrictions placed on him, which is quite suspect. This is where things get sketchy. Alexandrovich remains the only person caught in the sting who has not had a criminal complaint filed against him, which then means no judge could impose restrictions. Alexandrovich is due back in court on 8/27 for a status check on filing of complaint. I think he's going to miss that hearing. If I had to guess, Mr. Alexandrovich is going to be chilling in Tel Aviv, which also has the highest per capita members of these certain individuals. I think he's going to be chilling there. I don't think he's going to be coming back to the States. But the complaint remains on file. There is no indication yet that he will even attend his court proceeding in person. Of course he's not. It also remains an open question as to whether the federal agents at the HSI FBI alerted U.S. Attorney Chada, which is the person we'll talk about in just a minute, who has been openly a major Israeli supporter in the past of his employment to the Israeli government. And then, of course, our government comes out and says, "Nuh-uh, we didn't do that. How dare you? We would never let pedos, get away with things or, not release certain files pertaining to them. We wouldn't do that. Not us. Couldn't be us." Israeli official Tom Alexandrovich was arrested in Nevada before being released. U.S. State Department says U.S. officials were not involved in his release. Las Vegas police announced his arrest late last week after an undercover operation. The U.S. State Department said on Monday the American government played no role in the release of an Israeli official charged with soliciting sex electronically from a minor. Real Bob Vogel vibes here. Tom Artyom Alexandrovich was one of 8 people charged last week following an undercover operation targeting child sex predators, and the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police said in a statement issued last week. Alexandrovich faces a felony charge of luring or attempting to lure a child or mentally ill person to commit a sex act with the use of computer technology. So is it a different crime if you write a letter? Is it a pen pal crime instead of with use of computer technology? Israeli media said on Thursday, Alexandrovich, who they described as a senior department head in Israel's National Cyber Directorate, was released by U.S. authorities and is back in Israel. Reuters could not establish why Alexandrovich was in the Las Vegas area, but at the time, the city was hosting Black Hat, one of the cybersecurity industry's most prominent conferences. A representative for Black Hat said the conference did not share data on attendees. Wouldn't that be funny? At the cybersecurity conference, they leak all of the data of who's actually there, which would just kind of be a little ironic, just a little on the nose. The report that an Israeli official accused of a felony sex crime was allowed to return home drew a storm of speculation online. No diplomatic immunity. He did pay the bond. Let's see. The Israeli embassy in Washington did not immediately return the request for comment. I wonder why. Bit of a sticky situation. And yeah. U.S. Department of Near Eastern Affairs. The Department of State is aware that Tom Artyom Alexandrovich, an Israeli citizen, was arrested in Las Vegas and given a court date for charges related to soliciting sex electronically from a minor. He did not claim diplomatic immunity and was released by a state judge pending a court date. Any claims that the U.S. government intervened are false. Now, again, would your government ever lie to you? Yes. 100%. And this is a guy who's, a senior head of Israeli cybersecurity, pretty far up there. Even if he doesn't have quote unquote diplomatic immunity, he probably has some powerful friends in high places. Maybe some sensitive data they don't want getting out. Who knows, right? All plausible, all theoretical. But, what's funny? Every now and again, you hear a take from somebody and you're like, damn, I'm not supposed to like you. You're on the opposite side of the political spectrum from me. Maybe that's just the horseshoe theory kicking in, of course. But we have the Young Turks doing a really good job of explaining all of this. Doing a really good job, especially with the acting DA of Nevada. So we'll go ahead and let this play.
The acting U.S. attorney for the state of Nevada.
Sometimes the memes just write themselves. So again, this is the lady who allegedly let the child sex pest go home back to Israel. It's just a little strange.
State in which an Israeli official was caught up in a pedophile sting operation that was carried out by the FBI and local police is an Israeli-born individual lawyer who has ties to various Zionist organizations, including the Israeli American Council, which is funded by Miriam Adelson. I think that information is relevant.
Adelson is also one of Trump's top donors, just to be clear. I do love how a Israeli-born Israeli dual citizen is also somehow a district attorney in Nevada. It's like, really? Should we allow that sort of thing? I mean, I know people have been talking about this for a little while now, but maybe, just maybe, we shouldn't allow dual citizens to hold office in this country. Maybe that's too strong of a take, but I'm just saying maybe people with dual allegiances, or really one allegiance that's not America, shouldn't be allowed to hold American offices. Maybe.
Relevant because the guy in question here, the alleged pedophile who got caught attempting to lure what he believed was a 15-year-old girl in Las Vegas for sex, his name is Tom Alexandrovich, was allowed to go back to Israel. He didn't even miss his scheduled flight back to Israel. And now that he's in Israel, it's unlikely that he's ever gonna be prosecuted for it. In fact, the Israelis appear to be providing cover for him, even though he got caught up in this joint sting operation. Now, the FBI being involved in this sting operation is very relevant because you would expect the federal government to pursue prosecution. But they're not pursuing prosecution. In fact, Sigal Chattah, that's the name of the Israeli-born, Trump-appointed acting US attorney for.
Where's that picture? Let me pull it back up again. Where'd it go? This one. This is the picture. This is the face of. This is the face of Israeli citizen that is protecting a other Israeli citizen from facing sex crime charges in America. Just doing your buddy a solid, I guess. Can't be getting arrested for messing around with no 15-year-olds in America. Straight back to Israel for you.
Nevada says the following in a statement. This is posted on X. Last week, Tom Alexandrovich was arrested in a Nevada Internet Crimes Against Children joint operation, and he was booked into the Henderson.
I don't know if Skipper Duke is telling me to focus, or he's like, focus, my man, like you're on the wrong path. If I'm on the wrong path, feel free to correct me on this, because I'm happy to listen to your arguments. I think that could be quite entertaining.
Detention Center. This important multi-agency operation targeted child sex predators who preyed upon the most vulnerable members.
Oh no, I remember. No. It's not. All right, listen, guys. Okay. It's all of them. Okay. It's not red versus blue. It's all of them. Okay. It's all of them. All right. Just throwing that out there.
Members of our communities. As a result of the operation, the Clark County District Attorney's Office is handling the prosecution. Why? So understand, this is essentially Sigal Chatta's way of saying, we wash our hands of this pedophile, this Israeli official who is an alleged pedophile. And we're gonna just allow the state to deal with it, even though we allowed this guy to fly back to Israel, which means extraditing him back to the United States to face prosecution and to face charges is already incredibly difficult. There are literally thousands of cases in which the federal government in the United States has attempted to extradite Israelis for crimes they've committed here in the US. And Israel won't play ball because Israel owns us. Let's keep it real.
Well, so and this sort of thing happens a lot, and yeah, again, somebody said broken clock right twice a day. It's like it's like when you start doing like a little bit of maybe anti-state in the Middle East stuff, and then you start getting recommended like pro-Islam stuff, and you're like no, you don't quite understand what I'm getting at here. But broken clock right twice a day, and we see this sort of thing happen a lot. Actually, wasn't it? It was Roman Polanski who. Was it his 14-year-old stepdaughter or 15-year-old stepdaughter? And then Bryan Singer, who was also another, Hollywood type, caught doing things with minors, and he fled to Israel as well. So this happens a lot. People are like, oh, sex crime in the US, back to Tel Aviv.
So why would we think for a second that the state prosecution, Nevada prosecuting him, would make it any easier to bring him to justice? It wouldn't. And I think that's the point here. So mind you, the FBI, again, was part of the sting operation.
Well, I mean, listen, guys. Okay, there are certain verses in the Talmud that allow a certain group of people to get away with crimes against the goyim, right? So I mean, it is kind of in their culture, let's say, to not prosecute their own for doing things to other people because they are a hyper ethnically focused group, which isn't, maybe all I'm saying is maybe other people should act the same. I don't know.
Yet federal prosecutors are washing their hands of it. Why? Why would the FBI be part of a sting operation when federal authorities don't plan on prosecuting individuals who have been caught in the sting operation? And keep in mind, the crime he is accused of here, Alexandrovich, he's accused of a felony, using technology to lure a minor for sex. A felony punishable in Nevada by between 1 and 10 years in prison, in addition to fines up to $10,000. In Nevada, this is a category B felony, the second most serious type of crime after offenses that involve causing death or grievous injury.
Yeah. So, guys,
I'm probably going to stop it there because again, this is where it's like the guy on the left also thinks you should be able to have intercourse with animals. So his opinion on this sort of stuff isn't all that relevant. Just a crazy little wacky man over there on the left. But, just in case you needed another reminder that you live in clown world, in clown country, still the best country out there. But, we could use some improvement. A little bit of renovations, you could say.